This is Today.
To the wall.
We're going to take a look at the marks, and the reason is because that the driver was injured. Members of the task force, some of them at least, would also try to get in touch with the chairman, more insight onto the activities, and he had his own views and had a lot to say about this matter. Drivers with the government to see how they can better fashion the task force and how they can, coexist with the drivers in this. Like I said, we'll speak with the chairman of the side of the task force, which is very important. Pay certain amount of money to the. How can all of this be resolved? Because it's a good job that the task force is doing, and it's no longer news that we need to, keep the city organized, and that's why they were put there to help. Inevitable.
Yeah, I don't think that force and extortion should be part of the job that they're supposed to be doing. I mean, if they're following the line, if they're in line with what the governor propagated when he came up with the task force, then I do not think that force and you know how stubborn most drivers can be, and then some of them will try to be resilient in the long run, and then probably cause some clash between
mental health. One of our callers said, drivers act. The noise and scream and shout and how they act, drive, some of the attitudes, and you'd yourself, you just can't explain why, people behave in that manner, especially those who are into commercial driving. And then also for members of the task force, that's also another characters, because many would say that this job, most times you have touts being, employed to carry out the constitutions too.
Yeah, half the time what we've seen is that a lot of them want to take it's both ways, all right? So if the government can actually, let them be better, because in the end of the day, you cannot have intimidating task force members and then you don't expect some sort of revolt from the people.
Again, with Honorable Bright Amayewule to get more information. He's the chairman. Before we speak with him, let's get to the phone.
And also the chairman of the task force, also he has been on radio telling people how they have been suspended. What we need to do is
both ways. Now, some people are also saying between the task force and the drivers, would also encourage us in River State over the phone. We actually spoke to him before the task force. Any moment from now, two of them have been confirmed by newsmen at different times. Yes, it's a good project. It's something that we should encourage. But then, I think both people should, learn the respect. For instance, the members of the task force should realize that there are laws, and then you have to understand that if you apprehend people, the residents also have to realize that these people are empowered by the law. So if you've broken the law, you don't need to start dragging that you should not be where you are, and then you're there doing what you're doing. So why not just go face the law?
Yeah, I think bottom line is the task force members should realize you have to act according. I think that's the best thing we can do, right? I mean, if you are working in accordance to the law, it is easy for people around to want to respect that fact, all right? Because I do understand one thing for sure. If you're if you're trying to intimidate another person, whether or not you're backed up by the law or not.
We'll try to get in touch with the chairman now. Junction, and then a driver got injured who is said to be in the hospital, and there's been other allegations of expended who were caught. Collectors on some information. There's been first off, congratulations on a good job being done by the task force in Port Harcourt. We're seeing the work that they are doing and the improvements that has put in the city with regards to traffic, and then the city looking more organized. That's a good one from the task force, and a good job from your team, sir. Congratulations on that one. But there's been also complaints from certain people with regards to the activities of some members of the task, how the operations work, and
because for the past 3 months before the commencement of this task force, we're going to transition there. We're trying to start the people. If they are commercial at such a point, the task force is bound to points where markets are not supposed to be to operate. We'll catch you, we'll prosecute you at the mobile court as well. You put the mechanics at places where mechanics are not supposed to be sighted. Of course, there should be a proper garage
Some people have also complained to us in some cases that they were harassed by members of the task force for parking on the road. And they, according to their own part of the stories, there aren't any signs to show that there are designated parking spaces. So sometimes you park to get something and then, operatives of the task force would approach you and then impound your vehicle. Is that also part of the process?
Not possible enough to know that if you're parking to do business anywhere, you should park outside the road. You cannot park above the road.
So if you park properly and not block the road, it's not a problem.
No, we're not even prescribing any private person against the section of the task force.
Okay.
So the only place we are doing along that road is that if you pass across the Sherman and through to water line, you can see that there are different private individuals now to make use of certain vehicular and human movement. So they should be prepared to relocate, but relocate where they will use as park for their contractors and their staff or visitors.
Okay. Chairman, sir, we've also got them suspended when they were legal activities, and yesterday they were would like to know the position of of your team on this. Hear their own side of the story, what the situation in Choba was like yesterday.
What actually happened in that Choba is that internally the park, because the park meant for those going from Choba to by 3. And now one of the drivers, instead of rotating inside there, they're rotating outside the park at the point where you're not supposed to park and carry passengers. And eventually the man intercepted him. And so he had to stop. So that's what surely that. So he went and now on his return back arrested, and then while he was at the matter now is before the mobile court, and then the young man, what he now did again was to now go and mobilize some of their drivers and conductors again and met my taxi people at Chuba and started attacking them seriously. It was the effort of the social media at Chuba that saved the lives of my people yesterday. So that led to them now being stopped from operating in that park. They now had to say that we're going on protest, and they went to the TA open going junction to block vehicles from flying on that commercial vehicles from flying on that route. I got wind of it, and I moved down to that place around the park. Immediately I moved to the matters that came up. But then concerning my members as a deterrent to other members, so I'm really keeping my eyes on my members now, very strongly, and to ensure that
sir. And lastly, there's also been talks. We don't know if it's legal or if it's allowed. Some people have said that members of the task force have been cited wielding cutlasses and sticks and some other light weapons in that fashion. And we also are aware that security agencies are supposed to move around with them. So if this is true, we want to confirm if it's true, if that they are allowed to carry such tools, and if they are allowed to carry it, what would be the need of the security officials that are supposed to move around with them? And if they are not, does that mean that these people are breaking the law or they are not members of the task force?
Like task force members does not operate with anything like cutlass or any other kind of weapon. In fact, that when you see those weapons coming out, if there is any issue, it comes out from the members of the public who are always attacking my task force people. You know, they have been on the airfield that is police people. The police would have also been able to, they would have the pictures of that to the streets. They go with even boys that sell on the road, this trader that walk around and they are leaving the streets.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Once again, we'd like to congratulate you for a job well done at the moment. And we hope that it continues and Rivers State gets back to that position where Port Harcourt is the Garden City again. Thank you very much for finding out time to talk with us.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Have a lovely afternoon, sir. Well, that was the chairman of the task force that was put up to enforce the ban on illegal street trading and illegal motor parks. Honorable Bright Amayewole speaking there. Well, you heard the man. So, what would you say? Well, let's get your own thoughts. Wealth doesn't want to comment on those because it was apparently very straightforward and he put out his own view. So it's always good to hear both sides. We got to hear what the drivers had to say and people who were there yesterday. Would like to know from you now, if you were there as well, what your thoughts are, if you had any experience. You also heard what the chairman had to say about the task force and how they operate.
One impression in your...
What we're discussing now. If you wanted to make correct an impression, you should have called in on the first half of the show.
I was calling now, you couldn't put my call, so I said I would come in the second half and try to correct that impression.
So please, can you move on to what we are discussing now?
And talk.
Thank you very much. Hello, Today 95.1 FM. Good afternoon.
Well, the truth of the matter is that...
your name first, please.
I'm Prince.
Okay, Prince. Go ahead.
Now, the truth of the matter is that both sides should do the things according to the law that is guiding the task force. Both the task force and the armed forces. I don't think something might likely go wrong. Even in Lagos. You see, I don't know why our people here now is a different matter. And again, this Pastor Isaiah, I don't know if it is...
No, let's let that. That's no one. Let's let that be. No, thank you very much. You made your point. Hello, Today 95.1 FM. Good afternoon.
The located area that the task force will go.
I think yes. I think it is. I'm not really sure. I think we might have to confirm first.
I want to confirm because yesterday, day before yesterday, those boys went there and because it's a community, it's a village. It's not located among the Port city. I don't know why those boys will go there.
All right, we'll confirm. Thank you very much for bringing that to our notice. Thank you. Hello, Today 95.1 FM. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Gift, you're welcome.
Thank you. What?
Good afternoon.
To have tell you that they should just try and you're doing the thing. So I appreciate Wealth for that very act. Frankly speaking, if there is a law and you obey that law, see, people are talking about black people or Africans or Nigerians, something to time and all the rest. I don't know when we will change from this attitude because there is a law existing. Or not to go to a particular, going against that very law. That very law, I don't know why. So, Wealth, I appreciate you. That they will still investigate, and at the end of the day, the law will still catch up with those guys. And people have been reporting that there are some persons that are even trying to disguise, to pretend as if they are part of this very task force. So, River State matter, my brother Andrew, it is so critical and difficult. I don't get it. If you, from now to tomorrow, talk, even Bright and Mewule is even trying. That is why some persons are even doubting if at all this guy will even succeed. Our people, it is well with all of us. They should, Bright and Mewule, deal with even your own people because some of them, after the governor warned them, they are still going against this same
Gift.
That they are trying to enforce.
Thank you very much, Gift. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Hello, good afternoon.
Andrew, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. Welcome.
Though I'm not in River State anymore, but I understand. I can imagine from my side here what is happening over there.
Where are you calling from?
Okay, Emeka from Owerri.
Okay, all right. Go ahead.
I'm not in Rivers. I'm not in Port Harcourt, but I can understand what is going on there. You see, you cannot rule out political contribution into this. UI wicked is wicked and this and that. It's a normal thing. You may mention of LASMA. If you go to Lagos, I think people are more afraid of LASMA than police in Lagos State. Because I know what I'm saying. I've experienced their work there. But in your case there, the problem I have, instead of somebody to say it as it is or say replace the fact as it is, somebody called and told you that the issue of Buhari should not be mentioned. And I had it the other station. Other station are discussing it. Okay, not only I had it this morning. I said it at 7 o'clock. I had it this morning from some stations.
All right, thank you very much.
Not to talk about it because you mentioned Buhari.
Thank you very much.
Everything is not politics.
Thank you for your contribution. Thank you. Hello, Today 95.1 FM.
Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. My name is Peter, calling from Port Harcourt.
All right, Peter, go ahead.
I think this issue of the task force I wish that Bright Amehuna would have been there. Because last time I called him, he said that I told him that these people...
You didn't tell us your name.
I told him my name is Peter.
Okay, Peter, go ahead.
I told him that people will start immediately to 4 o'clock in the evening, even to 8. That is something that they will continue. I asked him, will they do that? He said yes. You see, one thing with the human beings is that they always point hand at the president, the governor, rulers. They themselves are too stubborn. How can somebody cluster the road and tighten the road and cause people in the various to be suffering? And now you talk of the tax force. These tax force people, they have park there at Rumokoro. They have park everywhere, even at the Uniport. But why are they covering the main road? You see, like when you come to Rumokoro, you see some people, they will allow some people, you see them using pipe, using at the fire to pay, and allow some people to park, to load, and allow the fighting against other people. Who are these people they are allowing? If you look at it properly, in this state, they are too stubborn. And you see, when you see Yoruba, you see a lot of people, they are too stubborn. One thing is that you need to handle them. If people who are very stubborn, they handle them with the stubbornness. They must clear the road. With the only
all right, thank you very much.
My brother, like the other guy, passed discharge their duties. My brother, most of them left that job and became something else. I am telling you, some of them get mad on the street. It's not an opportunity or an avenue for anybody to go out there and then in the armed conduct. So people should know, just like you go to a police station, before the police there are questions, there are tears, there are causes. I am telling you that these people should go out there and do what you will be remembered for, and not what people will remember negatively or become a bad example to the government and the family. Finally, also, I want to say that you should make sure that if talk with men, where that they will also understand, because that job is a very sensitive job, and if you don't know how to orientate the people, I think orientation is much more needed in that job.
All right, Isaiah, thank you very much, Pastor Isaiah. Thank you. Hello, Today95.1 FM. Good afternoon.
Andrew.
You're welcome.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Your name is? You're welcome, Junior Okidi.
Of some of them, because they are more of rude to the people. They are out there to offer services to the people and not to be a cause to the people. So I'm joining other callers to say that whoever that is in charge of the task force, look into it, because before Rivers people were complaining of the activity of the task force, and whenever they complain, the Bright Amehule that is heading agency will come and debunk it. And recently I started seeing the complaint of the people, because I heard that he sacked a whole lot of them. So they should listen to what people